When I first started shooting this review, the camera unexpectedly jammed on me. I didn't know what was going on. All I did was advance the film, and when I went to take the photo, nothing would happen. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So today we're going to be taking a look at this. This is the Canon AE-1, and this camera was introduced in 1976, and it sold all the way up until 1984. This was one of Canon's first cameras to actually incorporate electronic components in its design. Their idea was that they were actually stepping away from their previous all-mechanical cameras. Another thing worth mentioning is that this camera was designed with a novice photographer in mind. It focused on simplicity and cost. Alright, let's get into the review. When the AE-1 was introduced, it was the first SLR with a microcomputer. It also featured a plastic body coated with a silver tone enamel. Let's see if this entry-level SLR is worth picking up for shooting 35mm film. On the outside, there's a large shutter speed selector dial set underneath the advance lever, and a combination mode switch and shutter button. On the opposite side, there's a battery check button and a rewind knob. There's also a hot shoe for syncing external flashes. On the front, there's a silver backlight compensation button and a separate exposure check button underneath that. There's also a switch for the depth of field. This camera also has a 10-second self-timer, which is something convenient to have. The viewfinder on this camera is a pentaprism type, and it offers a 93% coverage of the frame. Looking through, you'll see a focusing aid in the center and a light meter on the right-hand side showing you the apertures. Loading film in this is a pretty simple operation. Start by setting the ISO matching the film. Next, open the back of the camera using the rewind knob and put in the film. Lower the rewind knob, take the leader and extend it across the film plane, inserting it into the slot in the take-up spool. Make sure everything is tight and the sprockets engage with the holes in the film. Advance the film, hit the shutter, do this once more, and close the back. Now just advance until you reach the first frame and you're good to go. The battery compartment on this camera is on the front. There's a small switch on the lower side of the door. Press it to open it. The camera is powered by a PX28 6V battery. One of the key selling points of this camera is that it had shutter priority, and what that would allow you to do is that when you were using one of the compatible lenses, usually it's the ones with the small green A on the aperture ring, you could set the lens to that setting, and then you could just focus on the shutter speed. The camera would pick the correct aperture based on the shutter speed, and it would actually let you know what aperture it was using through the small needle in the light meter. Usability with this camera is great. The ISO selector can be a bit of a problem since it's located underneath the advance lever, but besides that, the camera is comfortable to hold and it has a good amount of weight to it. It is also very simple to use. There's nothing fancy here. There's no LEDs in the viewfinder, there's no exposure comp. It just gives you aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. In many ways, it is exactly what it was designed to be, a simple, affordable camera. But the details matter. I like the backlight compensation feature. Also, the raised part on the battery compartment door is a great place to rest your fingertips. It also helps you grip the camera a lot better. I appreciate the large shutter button with the short throw, and the body looks and feels like real metal. Also, the locking depth of field switch is an excellent touch. I took this camera out to a couple of places, including a local art and wine festival. The camera performed very well. It didn't miss a beat. Here are some of the shots I got. Let me know what you think in the comments. Finding lenses for this camera is also very easy. Canon's FD lens line is extensive and it offers a wide range of prime lenses. The lens I have here is an FD 50mm f1.8 SC. This is the breech neck version, and it's often overlooked for its more expensive 50mm f1.4 version. This lens produces great images. It has good color and contrast, and it has decent sharpness. It's a great value for money, in my opinion. The breech neck versions of the FD lenses are older, and in order to mount them on the camera, there's a slight difference. Match the red dot on the ring to the line on the depth of field scale. Then match the dot onto the dot on the camera and rotate the ring clockwise until the ring tightens up. Another good thing is the price. This camera is very affordable. You can find this anywhere from $40 to $150. So durability with this camera is good, but there are some things you need to watch out for. If you look online, you'll notice that this camera can be prone to electrical issues, and this one is no exception. When I first started shooting this review, the camera unexpectedly jammed on me. I didn't know what was going on. All I did was advance the film, and when I went to take the photo, nothing would happen. I checked the battery using this button here, and the battery was fine. I checked the contacts on the battery compartment to make sure they were clean, and they were fine. I even took out the film thinking that would clear the jam, and that didn't do it. It was just completely stuck. So what I ended up doing was I went back and I did some research, and what I found out is that sometimes the electromagnet, which is underneath the base plate, this is what actually fires the shutter, can get gunked up with dirt and debris. What I ended up doing is opening up the bottom of the camera. There are two screws that hold the bottom plate in place. In order to get these out, I needed to use a set of special JIS screwdrivers meant for camera repair. I've used these in the past to repair other cameras. I have to say, DIY repairs usually don't end well. I know this from experience, and I'll always recommend sending the camera off to a professional repair center where they actually know what they're doing. But in this case, I was willing to take a risk. This is the electromagnet, and this is a spring-loaded armature that it drives. I took a sturdy toothpick and I placed it where the spring meets the armature and applied light pressure towards the lens mount. This got the camera to fire. Next, I used a bulb blower. It's always best to use one of these over compressed air. Compressed air can damage the camera. The electromagnet has two openings in its case, one at the top and then one opposite the coils on the left-hand side. My idea was to use the bulb blower to push air through the top slit and to get any dirt and debris out through the opposite hole. This actually got the camera working again. So in conclusion, is the AE-1 worth picking up for shooting 35mm film? Yes, there's a good balance between price and performance, and if you're looking to get into Canon's FD lens line, this is a good option to take. It is the cheaper of the A-series Canon cameras, and at the same time, there's a good bit of history here. Being the first to have an onboard microcomputer, and the first to sell over 1 million units, this camera is an icon. Every time I'm using it, someone always stops me because they recognize it, and they tell me about the fond memories they had when they were using it. Alright, so that does it for this review. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video or got some good information out of it. If you did, please let me know by hitting the like button. And if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing. Alright, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.